Hey everyone, I'm Anthony Strickland, Vice President at 98 Forward. As we close out an incredible chapter of our agency's history, we're celebrating our co-founder and trailblazer, Georgella Muirhead, a woman whose leadership and vision has shaped not only the Detroit communications landscape, but also generations of professionals who follow in her footsteps. This conversation, Forward Together, is an opportunity to sit down, reflect, and honor the journey. From her early days working under Coleman A, our first Black mayor, to building Berg Muirhead Associates, and now the evolution of 98 Forward today. Through these conversations, we'll talk about legacy, lessons, and leadership, and what it means to move forward together. Let's get started. Let's start at the beginning. So from what I've heard, you've worked in East Lansing, Southfield, Ann Arbor. You've even worked at the county, even though that was after the city. But tell us about how you got started into that and what life was like working in these different types of entities in PR.
Well, so much that led to who I am and what I did is circumstances. I needed to work. And there was a job in the city of Ann Arbor, and they wanted a communications assistant sort of person. I think at that time it was called an information assistant. And I thought, why not? Paid good, I could do that. I had no idea at that time what public relations was. So I decided to take that job, and I was still in school. Communications director assistant, I can't remember the title, came up in East Lansing. I applied. And because I was recruited, so I thought, why not? I got the job.
Nice.
But it was a little scary moving from Ann Arbor, Detroit, the area I knew, to East Lansing. What if I didn't do well in the job? Where was I going to go? I had to work. I had little people in my household. So this city manager realized my hesitation. So he says, well, what will make you feel comfortable taking this job? What if I held your job for you for 6 months? Would you feel comfortable taking this opportunity?
Wow.
I know, it was amazing.
I've never heard of
I've never heard of anything like that. So I said yes. So I, scurried on down to East Lansing, and it was the start of my real PR career.
So how did that translate to you getting this job in the city of Detroit, working under Mayor Coleman Young? Because it sounds like you already got a solo, a little bit of an intro to him, but.
I was working for the city of Southfield, and Southfield was a great community to work for because at that time it had a lot of resources, it was growing, it wanted to be seen as one of the big guys, and so we were able to do a lot of things in Southfield. And Bob Berg was Mayor Coleman Young's press secretary. And he wanted, they needed to replace their public information director. And so Bob decided, well, if I've got to work with this person, maybe I should have a hand at trying to figure out who's out there. So he asked a few people. They suggested you talk to the woman in Southfield. He called me up. He says, can we do lunch? I just want to talk about what might be a possibility in Detroit. Again, I don't turn down free lunch.
No.
So we went to a great restaurant. We had a conversation. We really hit it off. And he went back to the mayor and suggested that he might want to talk to me about being the new information director. Nice. Again, this was my dream job, but I saw this job as being a job down the road.
Gotcha.
I didn't see this job as being at that point in Detroit's history. But I met the mayor, he agreed with Bob, and he hired me.
Yes.
And so at 32 or something like that, I was directing a department of 32 people.
And that's a great kind of segue into what are some of the most exciting opportunities or programs or things that you did work on while you were working under Mayor Coleman Young?
Well, we're getting close to Halloween, and I can't help but think fondly of Halloween and my first big project, Devil's Night. Devil's Night in Detroit was such a sad period of time, and this has been going on for years, and these crazy fires, and we were quite frankly the laughing stock of the world. It wasn't just national media that came to Detroit. International media would come to Detroit. I would be seeing Japanese video crews in Detroit to capture Devil's Night. So the mayor had been working on Devil's Night for a number of years. But this particular year, we decided to put all of our efforts in changing Devil's Night. And so we started doing some research, trying to figure out, okay, what might we do different? And I forget what we came up with. It was something about watching your neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And I remember, again, having that print shop, we came up with this idea that although we'd been doing patrols, it wasn't enough. We needed to engage the entire community. So how could you engage the little old woman who sits on her porch, as well as the people who get in cars and they do, you know, the patrolling? So we came up with Adopt a House. So if you had a vacant house in your block, you could adopt it, and we'd put a sign on it saying this house is being watched, you know, by whatever this neighborhood was, and they could sit on their porch and watch their house to make sure that it wasn't burned down. We started working with people like Mason to engage the young people in the community, because we were enacting a curfew. So the key was, in order for a curfew to be effective, young people and adults, everyone had to know what the curfew was. And one of my most proud moments was that a camera crew stopped a group of kids and said, "What are you supposed to do Devil's Night? We're supposed to be home by 6 o'clock, you know?" So the message was getting out. It was a curfew. But it really started to get the whole community engaged this year.
So we're going to kind of transition a little bit from that, because now I want to learn more about what you and Bob started. Berg Muirhead and Associates. What brought that about? When did y'all make the decision? How did it happen? You know, tell us more.
Well, going back to Bob recommending me for this job, so I did come to Detroit to work for Mayor Young, and Bob was the press secretary. And then the Department of Public Information had the bodies. We had the writers, the technicians, producers, all that stuff. Bob worked directly with the mayor in determining policy and working with the media. So we often worked together as a team. If there was a major event, I would manage the event, he would manage the media. And this went on for years. And so we became very, very good friends. And when the mayor decided he was not going to run, obviously everyone's looking for different jobs. Bob decided to step out and maybe start his own firm. I decided to stay on and work for Mayor Archer. And so did that for a number of years. And then we just sort of, I guess it came together when Mayor Young died. And then Bob and I decided to work together.
So, okay, we continue through Berg Muirhead and Associates. I want to kind of take a pause too, as we kind of shift into more of like the mentorship space. So obviously you've spoken about folks that have helped you, led space for you as you kind of developed in your career. Talk a little bit more about how that mentorship kind of translated for you in other spaces, but also how you've decided to kind of give back as well too.
Because it was so hard for me to figure out this career. When I was in Ann Arbor, nobody really talked about public relations or being a PR practitioner. It was, you might have had a job in city government that said it was an information assistant or something like that. But how do you do that job? Who do you ask how to do that job? There really was no one to go to. So I remember reading the Michigan Chronicle one day, and they were talking about this young black PR practitioner that was going to be making a presentation at the PRSA meeting. And I thought, heck, that would be something to see. So I took a vacation day, partially because I'm always lost. So I wanted to allow enough time for me to get to Ann Arbor, Detroit in the right spot on time, and because it was important to me. And I went to see this young man speak at this Public Relations of America Society luncheon. At that time, I didn't know what they were or what they did, but he was very dynamic. He was very well received. And at the meeting, I went up to him and introduced myself and said I wanted to learn more about the work he did and how I could become better in this work. And he agreed. Even though at that time he was very well respected. I'm not sure if he had served as president yet at PRSA, but he was right in that category. And he really helped me start shaping who I should talk to, how I should do this. And because that act of kindness really helped set my career. I decided right then and there I wanted to be that kind of practitioner. I wanted to be a Jerry Lundy kind of practitioner.
Yes.
One that if you came up and asked me about what you could do in your career, or you had a PR issue or question, that I was a safe spot to go to. And that's what I've tried to do.
I love that.
And so, because it just shouldn't have been that hard to find someone who looked like you that could help you understand how you can get into this career.
I love that.
And I've tried to change that. But I felt that to be a good practitioner, you had to have respect in every PR space. So I made it a real, I made a conscious effort to become involved in PRSA. And I have done that through my entire career. And I think it's important because when I come to this point of my career, I am most proud of that I am seen as a good Black PR practitioner, but I'm just seen as a darn good practitioner. No matter what the yardstick is, no matter who is making the judgment.
Right.
And my selection or induction into the Hall of Fame was, to me, a testament to that philosophy. Is that you wanted to be seen in all spaces, and you wanted to bring that influence to boardrooms and in areas that perhaps that influence hadn't been in before.
Exactly.
And that you wanted people, that young practitioners that look like you, to realize they can do it too.
Yeah.
Because I have another kind of philosophy, is that I tell you straight out, I didn't do I'm not super special. I wasn't the best student. I certainly had to work at being a practitioner, but I was willing to learn and grow, and what I didn't know well, figure out how to get better at it.
Yeah.
And if you bring that to the table, you can do what I do and take it beyond what I've done. I just don't want people to think that you have to walk on water
No, that's a fact.
to be successful in public relations. You just have to know what you want to do and work hard at it.
For sure. And I do want to say, I think that's a big part of why a lot of us do work here, is having the visionary of you, and obviously Bob as well, but just you being a Black woman in this space where we don't often exist, especially at such a high level, I think is also a testament, and us being in Detroit. But it's so important. There's so many times where we go into rooms or we're in this place and we don't feel seen, or we don't feel like we can because we don't see someone, and we get to see you.
Well, you guys, I look at it differently. I look at there are lots of you now.
Yes.
And you're in all sorts of spaces. And thankfully, you never had to experience how lonely it could be. When you show up in a room and they're surprised to see you. Or you're speaking to people and they want to devalue your experience and influence. That doesn't happen to the extent it used to, because you are all in different places, and it's a testament to you as the incoming PRSA president that that has changed.
Yes.
And that to any degree that I helped open those doors, I am both grateful and honored, but more than that, just delighted that there's so many people that it isn't seen as unusual anymore.
Yeah, and with that, when we think about kind of the continuation of the legacy, and now Marilyn as being the owner now, I do want to take some time and kind of talk about your relationship with Marilyn and her kind of continuing this legacy from you and Bob, and just all of that. Can you kind of talk a little bit more about it?
I'm a person that, I gravitate to people that I like.
Yes.
And Marilyn and I sort of hit it off from day one. And I consider her one of my sisters.
You do.
And more importantly, my other sisters consider her one of my sisters. We have that kind of relationship. We see things a lot the same way. And when I said that when Bob and I started the business, one of the things I pointed out is we never had an argument.
Right.
And we never had an argument the entire time that we ran the organization together. If it was something he really cared about, I could care less, and
Right.
vice versa.
Fair. Gotcha.
And so it always worked out. Marilyn and I have had that same kind of relationship. We rarely are not on the same page, and if we are, it's not really
Right.
A major issue. If it's something she really cares about, it's something that
Okay.
works for me, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And you have to have that kind of belief in a partner that you want to work with. And that's what Bob and I saw with Marilyn, and that's why we offered the opportunity to buy the business when I tried to retire the first time.
We're at a historic time now as well, working with our amazing council president, Mary Sheffield. You did mention kind of that full circle moment of working on this project as well too.
Acts of kindness, you just never know. When I came to Detroit to work for Mayor Young, I was still a fairly young practitioner. I had not worked in the city in a while, so I didn't have a lot of deep connections with movers and shakers and that sort of thing. But I'm sitting in my office one day, and my staff comes in and they says, "Mr. Sheffield would like to see you."
Oh my!
And I'm thinking, there weren't a lot of people I even knew I was in this space, and I said, "Mr. Sheffield." And I finally hit Horace Sheffield, and they said, "Yes, Mr. Sheffield." Well, Detroit, when I came back to Detroit to work, labor was huge. So he was known for being that labor leader, but also he had started this black business organization too. And I'm like, wow, So I go to the front desk, and I introduced myself. I said, "I'm Georgella Muirhead. How can I help you, Mr. Sheffield?" And he says, "Are you related to Herbert Bascom?" Well, it's very interesting because my middle name, my maiden name is Bascom. I don't use it all the time, but Bascom is a bit unusual because my father was West Indian.
Right. Yep.
So there weren't a lot of people that knew Bascom. And I said, "Well, yes, he was my uncle." And he says, the last time I saw you was when you were at his funeral. Well, he had been dead over 10 years or something. I was still, and more than that, because I was a young girl of maybe about 11 or something when he passed. And I was thinking, "You were at my uncle's funeral?" And so he says, "Yes, I just wanted to come and introduce myself, basically let you know you have friends and connections in Detroit, and tell you what a great guy I thought your uncle was." And to come to find out, they had worked together in the union.
Wow.
They were quite close. And he was at my uncle's funeral, and as a little girl, you don't know who's at the funeral.
Of course.
You just see a lot of important looking
Yep.
people that are standing around. But I'm thinking, my uncle had been dead for so many years. There was no reason why he would feel compelled that he needed to come and introduce himself to me. And that act of kindness, really just made me think, well, this was a great decision I made to come to Detroit, because these people are really, really kind to you. Who would think that 30 years or so later, I would meet a young woman who was going to run for mayor, and her grandfather was that same Mr. Sheffield that I had met and had made me feel a part of Detroit.
Do you have any advice and we'll kind of close with this, like any advice that you would give to the young professionals, the ones that are coming up, or even our mid-level professionals, things of that nature?
I think the advice would be to don't give up on your dream, but to be realistic about your dream, to really evaluate where you are and figure out what do you need to get to the next level.
So I would love to kind of hear, like, if you would go back to that younger self, that young girl, that young woman that was doing the newsletter about to announce Briarwood Mall, and to go back to that, what would you tell her about where you are now and things of that nature?
I think that a lot of things that you love to do, you start when you're young. I would go back to Christmas in Detroit. And I love to go to Hudson's to see the Christmas displays. So after seeing the display one year, I was probably maybe about 12 or so, I go back home and I tell my mom, "Can I do a display at the house?" And so I went up to the attic and I got all the old boxes, gift boxes. And my mom was so supportive of us, because at that time, wrapping paper was expensive. And I said, well, I want to wrap these, I want to create this backdrop. And so I want to stack these gifts up and have a backdrop to the tree, and then put our real gifts in front. So I got all these old boxes, and I would wrap the front of them, or the sides, because they're a backdrop, you know, and I'd stack these boxes up like I'd seen at Hudson's.
Wow.
And then I put our gifts in front, and I created this whole display. And the neighborhood kids would come to our house, and they'd come, oh my God, you must be rich. You have all these gifts in boxes. And so I took that same mentality to when I worked for these other communities. I wanted to do things bigger than life, and take something that was very simple and make it big.
But I do want to kind of ask, as we talk about kind of the future of 98 Forward, obviously Marilyn as the owner, thank you for allowing me and serving me, or allowing me to be the vice president of this agency and help leading with the charge of things. But talking a lot about the future of 98 Forward and being okay, because this wasn't your first time retiring, actually. So this will be the second time. But, how are you feeling about just the future of 98 Forward and ensuring that everyone understands and feels comfortable and confident with the future of 98 Forward as well, too?
What I think the goal has always been, and I think when Bob and I started and when I assumed more of a leadership role, I never wanted us to be, or Bob and I never wanted this agency to just occupy space in the city of Detroit. We always wanted to be a part of the city. And being a part of the city means that you live here. You care about their elections. You care about their successes and their failures. You want to see it get better and better and better. And over the almost 30 years, we have been a part of campaigns, and we've worked with clients that make a difference in this city and its future. And we still do that. And I'm very, very confident that the 98 Forward going forward will still continue that commitment.
So thank you so much, Georgella. We love you. We're so honored and grateful to have you here with us and to celebrate you soon in your retirement, but also knowing you will still be around as you please, though, this time. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I really enjoyed it.